Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. While printing number patterns, sometimes we need to use mathematical formulas to get desired numbers. Today, let's talk about few mathematical formulas which are helpful to print number patterns. So the first one is the formula to find number of columns in right triangle shape pattern. Whenever you want to print numbers or stars in the right triangle shape, we'll ask the user to enter number of rows. To print any patterns, we need number of row and number of columns. Usually in pattern programs, we'll ask the user to enter number of rows for the patterns. When you want to print number or star in the right triangle shape, we already know how many number of row you want in the output. But for number of columns, we need to use a formula. So for that, first we need to find the relation between number of row and number of column. If I take row numbers starting from 0, you can take from 1 also. Here, let's take row number as 0. First row number as 0. So this is the 0th row, first row, second row, third row, fourth row, when number of row is 5. When row number is 0, I need 1 column. When row number is 1, we need 2 column. When row number is 2, we need 3 column. This is the relationship between the number of row and number of column. When row number is 4, I need 5 column. That is nothing but I want row number plus 1 column. Right? That is the formula. To find the number of column in right triangle shape, the formula is row number plus 1. Okay, so let's use this formula in the program. Here we have our program 1. First, we'll ask the user to enter number of row. Then we are using nested for loops here. This is for how many number of row you want, that is num rows. For column, we are using row plus 1. This is the formula. Row is the variable representing row number. So row number plus 1. That is the formula to calculate the columns in right triangle shape. Now if I save this program and run this program, how many number of row? Let's take 6, and here you can see the output. You can write this program in another way also, that is, here you can see the second method. You can write this program without using nested for loop. Then here you need to mention how many times you need to repeat this star pattern. There you can use that formula, row number plus 1, row plus 1. Okay. So if I save this and run this, so first 5. This is the second method, output for the second method, and here you can see the output, right? So this is how you can calculate number of columns in the right triangle shape patterns. Okay, so next, how to calculate the first number in the square shape pattern, that is in this pattern. So here we want to print numbers in the descending order and we want numbers in the square shape. So you can calculate these numbers by subtracting 1 from the previous number. That is 25 minus 1 is 24, 24 minus 1 is 23, 23 minus 1 is 22, like that. But how to find this first number, right? Formula for that is, because here shape of the pattern is square, so the first number is nothing but the product of number of row and number of column. So here in this pattern, number of row is 5, number of column is also 5. So 5 multiply 5, that is 25, that is the first number. If you take number of row as 4, then number of column will be 4 because it is a square shape. 4 multiply 4, the first number will be 16. If number of row is 3, then number of column will be 3. 3 multiply 3, that is 9. The first number will be 9. So to find the first number in the square number patterns, where you are printing the numbers in the descending order, the formula is number of row multiply number of column. So here we have a second program. So first ask the user to enter number of row. And here no need to ask for number of columns because it is a square shape. So number of row will be equal to number of column in the square number patterns. So first value. Value is nothing but number I want to print in the pattern. Num multiply num. So I'll get the first number. So print that using nested for loop. then to print remaining numbers, we need to minus 1 from the previous number. Okay, now if I save this and execute this, let's take 5, and here you can see the output. I can take 6 also. Here you can see the output. Okay, so the formula to find the first number in the square number pattern where we are printing number in the descending order is num multiply num, that is nothing but number of row multiply number of column, right? Next, what about right triangle shape number pattern like this? How to find the first number in this pattern? Here we want to find the first number in this pattern and we want to print numbers in the descending order. The last number of this pattern is 1. So to find the first number in this pattern, right triangle shape number pattern, what I'll do is I'll consider this as a square pattern like this. Here you can see in the first row we want 1 number, then 2 numbers, 3 numbers, 4 numbers, 5 numbers. In the remaining places I need space. Now if it is a square pattern, I know the first number will be the number of row multiply number of column. Now if I minus number of space here by that product of number of row and number of column, then I'll get this first number. So I'll use like this. This is a square shape. I'll minus number of spaces from it. Then I'll get the first number in the triangle shape. So here number of row and number of column is 5 and 5 in this square shape. So the first number will be 25. I'll minus space from here. So total number of space is here 10. 25 minus 10, I'll get 15. Okay. Now first thing what we need to do is we need to find number of spaces required in the number pattern, in this pattern. So for that, here you can see when number of row we need 3 space, 1, 2, 3 like this. When number of row is 4, I need 6 spaces. When number of row is 5, I need 10 spaces. Here you can see that. And I'll write this 3 as 3 multiply 2 divided by 2. Okay, and I'll represent 6 as 4 into 3 divided by 2 and represent 10 as 5 into 4 divided by 2. Why? So here 3, 4, 5 is nothing but number of row. I want to represent this number in terms of number of row. I want to find the relation between number of row and number of space. For that, I'll write this number like this. 3 multiplied 2 by 2 is nothing but 3. 4 into 3 by 2 is nothing but 6. 5 into 4 divided by 2 is nothing but 10. I'll write 10 like this to find the relation between number of row and number of space. Now here if number of row is num, then I can write it as num multiply 4 is nothing but num minus 1 divided by 2. Here 2 is nothing but 3 minus 1. 3 is nothing but 4 minus 1. 4 is nothing but 5 minus 1, right? You can write it as 3 into 3 minus 1 divided by 2. Here also same. 4 into 4 minus 1 divided by 2. Here also 5 into 5 minus 1 divided by 2. So in general, you can write like this, num into num minus 1 divided by 2. And we know how to find number of space now. Next is, we can find the first formula. We can find the first number or total number of places needed in square shape using num multiply num formula. Minus how many spaces you want. I want num minus num minus 1 divided by 2 formula. It is number of space needed. If I minus this from the num square, that is 2 num square minus num divided by 2, that is nothing but num square minus num. Sorry. So this will be plus. So the final formula is num plus 1 divided by 2 to find the first number in the right triangle number pattern. What I'm doing here is, first we'll find how many number of places are there in the square number of pattern. Then I'll minus number of space we want in that square pattern. Then we'll solve that formula. Then we'll get the first number in the triangle shape pattern. That is, here first I'll find how many places are there to print numbers. So total 25. When number of row is 5, number of column is 5. So 5 into 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Total 25. Then spaces. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10. So total 10. 25 minus 10 will get 15. That is the first number in this pattern. So that's what we did here. Okay. Okay, so this is the formula. I'll just convert that input to int because of division we'll get numbers in the float value. But here we want integer number. That's why I'll use int function here. So let's save this and execute this. And if I take 6, and here you can see the output. Okay, so this is about different formulas to print numbers or stars in different shapes. So that's it for now, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I will meet you in next class. Till then, take care.